Hello, welcome here, Mode Audio Chronicles, episode 56. Host Curtis Hunt, and again, Leeland's down, and we're talking about Paragon.
He again.
Which, yeah, I've been really digging that game. And who I tried recently that I found was really good was Grox.
Grox? Oh man, he's fucked me up so many times.
Like he would, because his abilities are crazy. Like, his basic one is wicked.
I thought actually that Chimera was the harder one to be around, but I'm finding Grox isn't it lately.
Yeah, those are the two I
last
played.
couple times. Actually, Greystone too. Greystone's becoming a pain in the ass.
Yeah, and actually no, that's the three people I've played since we last talked about the game. Greystone, Chimera, and Grox. Actually, I went to try Iggy and Scorch, and someone backed out, and then someone picked them.
Oh.
That's got to be the biggest fucking annoyance, man. Is like I hate watching the pick counter go down on the other team or something, and it's just like ding ding. It's like they're not gonna fucking pick, and then it's like, oh, game drops,
and then you got to go out and fucking
hit play and everything again,
reload everything. Yep.
Fucking bullshit. But I mean, it's better than ending up in a game with fucking no one there.
True. No, since last time we played, I tried the Faye out.
Yeah.
Not quite a character for me. She's all right.
Yeah.
I like the fact of the way some of her abilities work, but
Ultimate's really good.
Not enough damage as far as I was concerned.
No, I feel like she's support really.
Yeah, and I mean the other one I was trying out was Murdoch, and he's a lot of damage, but I couldn't play him right because I like playing like Iggy and Scorch.
Yeah,
so go in
AOE casters type.
AOE, take out minions, take out towers, like roll on through. Murdoch, I found I can get in, I can do damage, but I'm going down like fucking super quick because I'm always out of position.
Yeah.
Right, because I'm used to a different type of positioning, and that's essentially what I'm trying to do is just find someone to replace Iggy and Scorch when I can't beat them.
Yeah,
and I haven't found anyone that I want to play.
I know what you mean, because there's a certain few things that I always want to have in a character, and one of them is like a dodge or like a movement ability, something to get me out of there. And the other thing is some kind of a CC ability I find is the best. And now, I've been playing, like, I liked, what the hell's his name? The big, like, wraith guy.
Oh, Severog.
Yeah.
Severog.
Like, he's really good, and he's got a bit of a CC ability. He's got the AoE slam that gives you slow.
Oh, yeah.
And he's got his ultimate, which fucking knocks you, like, drives you away. Which is wicked, because you can get behind people and drive them into a tower.
That happened to me a ton of times.
Right? Because if you're going to push on a tower and he's sitting on it, he can do that no problem. Because he's also got a movement ability to get behind you.
And Grox has the opposite, where he fucking does the ground slam and pulls you in.
Exactly.
I don't know how many times I'm after trying to get away from a tower, and he'll just run up and go blam, throws me over him, and back into a fucking tower. He's so far been one of the best ones that I've been able to play, because he's got a charge, so he's got movement ability. He's got this CC with that cone pull, and he's also, his R1 is like a bleed. Oh.
So I stacked attack power and attack speed on him, and he's just a beast, man. Like, the jungle is wicked, like just sucking up experience in no time. I was max card power and level pretty quickly. Well,
that's one thing I gotta say I don't do enough of, even though I should, is jungling.
Yeah.
I don't go in and kill the mobs, even though I know they give me all kinds of buffs, especially for the type of fucking the style I play with Iggy and Scorch.
Yeah.
Some of those buffs would help me walk.
You should be going after the black orb.
What's it do?
That gives you extra damage on towers.
Ooh.
That's what I mean. If you're pushing the lane all the time, Black Orb is the shit.
I'm not so much the one doing the damage on the towers as the thing. I'm just making sure that everyone gets there.
Oh.
Like, I mean, I attack the tower, but the only thing that's going to do damage out of all of my abilities is just my R2 skill shot. Because none of my little turrets will target the tower.
Do you have mana issues or anything?
Sometimes.
Because the blue buff would help you. Otherwise, just go get the red one. Just to boost damage.
Just damage.
Yeah. I mean, that's never bad. Unless you're, like, someone who's not really built to be killing, like... I don't think it'd be useful on Faye.
I got a question. What the fuck is the Orb Prime, and what happens...
I don't know.
What happens when you capture it?
I really don't know. Like, I keep seeing it. I don't even know where it is.
It's like, someone was making an alert, or like just sending an announcement saying, oh, go for the Orb Prime.
Orb Prime,
And I'm like, okay, so we went down to where it was. Someone was just after killing the thing and was running away with it. So I started walking like with them.
Oh, is that what
to go drop it into something, and then it says like, oh, orb prime.
Like the ability
like it done something, but I don't know.
It triggers some crazy ability, like or some buff.
But I'm wondering what it does.
I don't know. Is that what like the big minion drops? Like the big one in the center, the big pink guy?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he drops the orb prime, and then you gotta escort that back to like one of the side places. And then once it's dropped off, it does something, but I don't know what. Now, I'm wondering if it kind of stops, like, you know how when you're up close to their core, how it does like that AoE burst of damage. I wonder if it turns that off.
Oh, that could be. Yeah. I mean, I don't know though.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because now you say it, like, it could be, because there's definitely been times where I, like, didn't notice that.
Yeah,
like, it didn't
and that's the only thing that I can really say that was different, because I know there's times I went up and it just...
Yeah. Yeah.
But there's other times I went up there where it's like...
Just
go up and everyone just fucking tearing into it.
Yeah. Maybe that is
Unless that is only when the inhibitors are down. If all 3 inhibitors are down, maybe it doesn't do it.
That would make sense, too.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. It goes back to what the fuck is do or prime do.
Yeah. Yeah, I should look that up. But, something I did finally figure out is a little bit easier way to navigate the card UI in the match.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, like, what was driving me nuts was, like, I try to pick something, like pick an item that I had equipped so I could see what the upgrades were.
Yep.
And I couldn't do it. Like, every time I pick something, it would just, like, stay on whatever the fuck was on the screen. And then what I realized is it's suggestion. You gotta hit toggle suggestion.
Yeah, because when I go in there now, it's just all the cards listed across the screen, and when you highlight one, it'll tell you what the buff is, and it will tell you what cards are equipped to it.
Yeah, which is the proper kind of setup that you want. Really.
Yeah,
because otherwise, like when you got suggestion on, the last thing that you bought is what it's going to show you, regardless.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the last item you bought, it's only going to show you the upgrades for that, because it always suggests to upgrade your most recently purchased item.
That would make sense.
Yeah, and you can't even change it.
Yeah, because I've seen that. Because remember when I first said that I was having problems figuring out how to use the cards?
Yeah.
That's what I ran into. Because I would buy a bunch of upgrades. Well, no, I would buy a bunch of equipment, and it would only show me the upgrades for the one.
Yeah, like you're trying to upgrade like the first thing you bought, and you can't even get to it.
Yeah.
Like, and not even that. What used to fucking drive me nuts was like, can I see what the fuck this item does before I buy it? Like,
right? Because you can't highlight it.
Yeah. So toggles. The suggestion thing is fucking garbage. Honestly, it fucks the UI up really bad. I don't know why they thought that was a good idea, because like it's not an overly complicated system, honestly, but the suggestion makes it that way.
Yeah.
I guess maybe if I paid a bit more attention and read everything, but even still, it felt so clunky with that on, like, and just gross. Yeah, that's a very vague term for UI. Gross. But yeah, I'm fucking loving that game. Like, even though it's had some brutally long matches, even like we won, but the last one I played was like an hour and 10 minutes.
I know, and actually, it's funny because I mentioned on the last podcast that the few times that I played recently, like it's usually upwards a half hour. Like half hour is a regular game.
Yeah.
Now I'm finding 45 minutes is a regular game. So I'm less likely to play now because of that. Because I'm used to just picking it up, play for 20 minutes, half hour type thing.
Yeah.
You're good. But the last probably 4 matches I did, 35, 40 minutes minimum. So now it's just like, I might play Paragon. Oh, I don't have an hour to kill.
Exactly.
So
that's what I've been finding too. Like ever since the last few games, and I think it's actually I would chalk it up to the player base getting smarter, like understanding the game better because people play tighter.
The first time I played it, I hated the game. Well, I never hated it, but I didn't like it really.
Yeah, like didn't really click everything right.
Now that I found a character that I'm comfortable with and a playstyle I like, I mean. Yeah. I want to play it, but it's too long.
Yeah. I don't know. But, I mean, it's definitely going to be something I go back to now and then, but I'm definitely more apprehensive now, because the only time I ever see it go shorter, really, is when there's a surrender.
Yep. That's another thing I fucking hate. People just surrendering at random times.
What I found is, like, some douchebag is like, goes up, gets killed, they go out of position, get fucking murked, and then they're pissy and they want to just drop the match.
Like, I played... The first time I tried the Fae, I only played her once, but even then, like, I'd done terrible with the Fae.
Yeah.
The first game I played, like, I might have died 13 times in the fucking match. But,
easy with her, too, because she's soft as shit.
And that's the thing, I'm used to playing, like, Iggy and Scorch, and now I'm trying to run in and do AoE and shit with her, and it doesn't work.
No, you gotta chill.
That's the thing, like, I played shit, I was doing terrible, it was semi-frustrating, but at the same time, I'm not gonna fucking quit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play till the match is over.
Man, the one when I played Grux, like, someone kept trying to, like, there was 3 times where the surrender went up, and like people were saying, like we're gonna win. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like,
and that's what I find surprising is, like, when you turn the tide, that's when they announce it. Like,
yeah.
We were playing one game and they took all 3 of our towers out right away, and we had none of theirs. But then we just started fucking pushing back. Then we took all 3 of their towers out. And then another one of their towers and got closer to the inhibitor. All of a sudden it pops up, vote to surrender. So I'm like, no, fuck that. Took out some more towers, got up to an inhibitor. Vote to surrender again.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck? Like, we're literally pushing back to the win.
Yeah, and your guy wants to give up.
Like...
It's retarded, man. I don't know. But, like, I always think about, like, why does this guy do that? And definitely there's been, like I said... Because I'll see, like, a death pop up, and then shortly after, surrender comes up. But the other ones are like, do you need to go or something? Like, are you, like, stuck? You don't want to run away from the game, but you need to do some shit, and you're just trying to end the game? Like, because that I can see, yeah. But otherwise,
I mean,
like,
what happens if you bail? I've never bailed on a game, so, I mean, like, can you just...
I imagine...
quit, in a sense? Like, what happens with your players?
I'm not sure.
Do you lose a spot, or does like, an AI fill in?
I'm not sure. I don't know if AI takes over or not. I've definitely seen, like, a disconnect. Maybe it is AI, because I didn't notice, like, an idle character. Like, I didn't see anyone sitting on base or anything, you know what I mean? So it might be an AI thing. Because I think that's becoming fairly standard for these games, because it's really shit when someone dumps and it's just a character standing there. Because you're fucked. Like, especially if it's, like, before surrender is possible. You gotta wait for, like, 20 minutes, and, like, you got no chance of winning. But still, I just can't wait to see more characters come in. Because, there's really not a big roster yet. But, I mean, it's a MOBA, and they'll keep pumping them out. I mean, we've seen 2 since I started playing it. Greystone and Fae. And I don't know the schedule. Like,
Greystone's new?
Yeah, he was new right when we started playing.
Oh.
Like, he had just been
I thought Greystone was, like, one of, like, the
core ones?
Like, yeah.
No, he was, like, he was before Fae.
Oh.
So I'm wondering now what the next one's going to be. Because I've been digging them, too, like, the designs and everything. Even though, like, Greystone's pretty basic, like I said, he's the default style character. He's just like most of these other, like, guys like that, you know. He's got he's tanky. He has an AoE like fucking whirlwind attack.
Yeah.
And I think the only difference is basically his ultimate, like, for most of the other guys like him. Like, he's Garen, you know, from League, and he's fucking... I'm trying to think the heroes, who he is from Heroes. Because there's definitely, like, a sword board hero in Heroes.
No, I do like Paragon to an extent. I mean, they gotta... If the matches could be quicker, it'd be great.
Yep. Well, I'm hoping they'll
all you really have to do is just lower, like, the tower health.
Yeah. Or
just lowering the tower health. You wouldn't even have to fuck around with much of the mechanics for the characters themselves.
Yeah.
Just make it a little bit easier to get through towers, and you should see a noticeable difference.
Or add, like, an ARAM mode, right? Like, because... play Smite or League or Heroes doesn't really have one, I don't think. But, they've got alternate game modes, like single lane maps, 2 lane maps.
Oh, that's one thing I'd definitely like to see, another
right?
map.
Oh, yeah, but I think that those are going to be super major releases for them, because their maps, compared to all those other games, their maps are crazy. Like, they're so detailed and there's so much to them, So I think you will definitely see it, but it's going to be like a gigantic release for them.
There's still a ton of spots on the map I haven't even been to yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I don't go out to the sides.
Nope.
I don't jungle.
Yeah.
So there's a ton of the jungle I've never seen. I only happened to walk upon where that Orb Prime was, so I've recognized it and knew where to go.
I still don't know.
Other than that, like I didn't even know he was there. I see someone's like, oh, go for Orb Prime. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Mm-hmm. And then I was fucking around one day going from, like, the left lane to the middle, and I cut through that part, and I seen him there. I'm like, oh, this is the guy.
Actually, I only seen that. I didn't realize he was Orb Prime, but
I'm pretty sure he is. I mean, it makes sense. He's just the one
boss.
huge fucking minion there.
He's Baron, or fucking the Spider from League. No, Spider's in. I don't know. There's always a super fucking minion who drops major buff, and he's also got a harvester in front of him.
Yes, he does. Actually, yeah, because we had that hot harvester. Like when I was running through, I stopped to get fucking some card power.
That's what I've been fucking with harvesters more and more. And I think one of the definite things I'm gonna want for all my decks is like a specific key, because I've been noticing there's like Assassin's Key, which is just a key, but it also gives you like attack and damage buffs, right? Whereas the basic one is just a key.
I got an item on Murdoch that it's in itself a healing and mana potion.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and it only costs 1 point.
Well, that saves fucking... I mean, not having to take up 2 slots.
Right away. Like, it has like the 15-second cooldown, it has 2 charges, and it refreshes when you go back to base. So, I mean, it's nice, but it's intellect, so only he can wear it right now as far as my specs are concerned. That's
something I really, really like. The way that the potions are done. Like, that they have charges as opposed to you actually have to buy so many. Because I never fucked with potions in most of the other ones because I hated having to go back and rebuy them. But I love how it's just like, oh, I'm low on health, all my shit's recharged, run, like, go.
Yeah, there's like certain traits that I've never really fucked around with either, like energy pain. I'm wondering if I should really stack energy pain, because I do energy damage.
It might be worth trying just to see the difference. See, I don't know if it'd be as good.
Would it be better? Would it be better to stack penetration or damage itself?
See, I don't know really how penetration works as far as that goes, because you got to think like I'd compare it to. So it's ability damage, but is it like a spike of ability damage, or is it
consistent?
Yeah, because I think that's what would make the difference, but I don't know what it applies better to.
I know having it in there puts up your damage rating on your card.
Yeah, because more's getting through
on your deck, but it doesn't. I don't know how much of like an actual translation it is.
I think it only matter. I think it's one of those things where you'd have to look at like who you're going against. So if you're going against like Greystone, he's going to be defensive. Because one of his abilities is defense. It's like it's no ability there. It's a passive boost, right? He just gives more armor and more health.
Oh, so say R1, like he doesn't have like an R1, for example.
Yeah, I think it's
defense boost.
I think it's Circle. He doesn't have anything. He gets just extra health and armor. So he's the tanky tank. Like he's super tank.
It's a tanky tank.
And that's why he was a kind of boring character to play, but at the same time he was still pretty cool just from that the ultimate, because being able, even though a lot of times when it went off, it didn't really matter because there's like 3 guys on me and I still can't get away.
Fucking
Grim.exe.
Yeah.
He was the first guy I tried, and I want to go back to him because I did not know how to play him when I first picked him up.
I went up against him the other day, and his GTFO fucked me up so many times.
What is that?
The gyro thrusted force object or something like that, or whatever. Get the fuck out, GTFO. Yeah. But anyway, he basically just elongates and shoots out an orb from his stomach, and it tracks you, and it'll home into you, and it does a ridiculous amount of damage.
Really?
Like I'm pretty sure it one-shot me a couple times.
Shit. Were you playing Faye?
It's basically like a homing missile. Well, I was playing Iggy and Scorch that one. No, wait. No, I was playing Murdoch that one. But the thing is, with my Murdoch deck, it was nothing but energy and energy penetration. Yeah. It was basically, if he hits you, you're dead. But he went
glass
down.
cannon.
Oh, big time.
That's usually, I find, like, I always build for damage. Very rarely do I build survivability with a character.
I do have the tempered plate.
Okay, yeah.
On Iggy and Scorch, only for the fact that 90% of the time it's fighters that are taking me out.
Yeah. Yeah, because some guys, when they get on you, like, you're done if you're not in good position.
So I basically have tempered plate with 2 greater healings and a greater defense. But when you max out the 3 things in that, it gives you plus 66, which is equivalent to another greater defense. So just having that puts me up by 140 defense and like 700 health.
Oh, well, that's fucking massive.
Right when you max it out.
Yeah.
So it's huge for survivability once I level it up.
Yeah, but that's what I feel like. How do you do? Do you usually buy like one thing and max it, and then buy something, or do you buy a bunch of?
Depends on what I need.
Yeah, I suppose it's true.
If I'm running around and I'm noticing I'm dying quick, but I'm not going down to mana, I'll go for health over my mana pool. But then if I'm lasting but I'm always out of mana, then the next time I go back I'll buy mana first.
Yeah, I'm really digging the card system. Honestly, like it's a really interesting way to kind of like, introduce like rarity and complexity to the game that doesn't really fuck with it too much. Like,
I want to buy card packs because I'm suffering on my deck.
Yeah.
But I'm at 69,000 right now. I haven't spent any reputation yet, so I want to buy the mastery unlock for Iggy and Scorch.
Mastery unlock?
Yeah, because each character got a mastery that you can win and purchase for 75,000 reputation. And what it is that you ever notice when you go into like a character, it has that track.
Yeah.
With their levels, like, and it's like different bonuses and stuff. It's mostly just experience, really.
Well, like, what does it give you, like a skin or something?
If you buy the Mastery Unlock, you get the Challenger skin right away. And if you get to level 10, it gives you the Mastery skin. But when you're going through this like track for all the level ups and stuff in this Mastery Challenge, every time you level up, you unlock one of the things. So they all stack experience bonuses for you and for your teammates. So by picking a mastery, you'll eventually unlock all their skins for them, or at least 2 of them.
Mm.
And by going through the mastery challenge, you're going to level up in your Paragon faster. Because every time you level up in the mastery challenge, it gives you bonus experience every time, and it stacks and stacks and stacks.
Yeah, I'm going to have to fuck with that. Because I definitely spent some on card packs a while ago, but I'll probably leave it now to build up for that.
I was going to, just because I want a couple cards to kind of straighten out some problems I find with my characters. Well, I mean, it's only really Iggy and Scorch, and the only thing I really find is that I want to try swapping around those upgrade cards to see if it's better to go with something smaller.
Yeah, I don't really feel like I have a big enough body of cards yet to really fuck around too much with most of the characters. Like, and especially where, like, it splits it so, where they're always like corruption or light or fury or whatever, or order or fury. So it's like you might get a few decent cards for one like type, but you don't really have like enough basic shit.
Well, I fucking just by going through and doing like the regular stuff and like just leveling Paragon and that, my growth deck could be crazy. Like I got a pile of growth cards, growth and intellect. No, growth and order.
Who's that? There's definitely somebody.
I think like Faye.
Faye probably, yeah.
But I got a pile of growth and order cards, and they're like really good cards, like rares and stuff like that.
You don't want to play them.
But I don't have anyone that I want to play with for those cards.
And that's what I'd like to get some sick cards to try and build a Richter, which I'm less like hot on Richter now when I kind of looked at what he's really about, because he doesn't really do a lot of damage.
And that's pretty much what I want. I want to be able to
kill people.
I want to be able to, players I go after, but my goal when I go in is for towers, to take out minions, take out towers. So I want a character that can go in and can take out a group of minions with very little effort.
Yeah,
and Iggy and Scorch can fucking rip through any minions.
True,
even the super minions.
I can
push back super minions no trouble.
I feel like he's probably the best for like minion control, because I mean, really, you can like drop a turret and fuck off, like.
And that's another thing I found out. When you drop a turret, it doesn't disappear, and it doesn't disappear on death. So the turret will stay there until you either
someone breaks it, or you
exceed how many you put down, and it just despawns and respawns somewhere else. Someone breaks it, or that's it. Like that's the only way. It's the only way for it to go away.
That's really cool.
I've died, gone back to like waiting for my respawn, and my turret kills someone.
Geez, yeah, you should definitely try jungling. I wonder how that would work if you can like, drop 3 turrets on a minion camp and walk away. You know what I mean? Would you get I suppose they might just drop the experience there.
They would drop it there, but I don't know how that would work, because if I don't engage the minions, then they're not going to. do anything. So if I drop 3 turrets down, unless I physically attack the minions to initiate the combat, the turrets are probably just going to sit there.
True.
Now it'd be funny to drop a bunch of turrets like in the jungle, so that when people come
run
through, they just run into a turret.
That would be cool. And honestly, like this is the game where I feel like the term jungle is truly earned, because I get lost in the fucking jungle, man, all the time.
I'm always looking at the mini map.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
left.
I gotta go up here. No shit. No, I gotta go down around. Okay, here.
Yeah, that's what I found. The same thing. Like, but at the same time, I think that's really cool, because it's awesome running through the jungle, or sucks and banging into someone. It's just like, oh, we're both in here, like, and just like start scrapping it, and then maybe someone else runs in, maybe they don't. But like in League or something, the jungle just feels like part of the lane almost, because you can see from the top down, everything around.
Yeah, because you can just go to the side and whatever.
Yeah, but this is like you really don't see anything unless who's like directly in front of you. So it makes the jungle.
Lots of fucking tree cover too, and canopies and shit like that. So like he could be like right next to you, just down over the hill, and you might not notice him.
And there's also like you always get that potential to jump in through the canopy for a lot of places. Like jump from middle lane, just like bomb down to the top.
Oh yeah, anywhere in the middle lane you can instantly just like fucking crash down on someone.
But and that I've really been finding is pretty cool. Like again, I mentioned before, but like the verticality is what really makes this game for me compared to like Smite or, well, yeah, Smite is really the only one I compare it to, because it's the only kind of third-person action MOBA that I've played. Well, no, that's not true. I tried Battleborn when the beta was up.
Battleborn?
Yeah. It's like an FPS MOBA, and it was okay, but
oh, never mind. I was thinking Bloodborne.
Oh no.
I was like, Battleborn, really?
Shit, a Bloodborne MOBA, that'd be sick.
Oh my god!
Like a Dark Souls style.
Dark Souls MOBA.
Yeah, imagine like minions are like super dangerous. You gotta be actually playing well, or you're gonna get fucking taken out.
Oh my god, that means you can actually potentially fucking headshot someone.
I'd like to see someone kind of like, the thing about MOBAs is they've become fairly standard as far as like certain aspects. Like the way the minions move, the way towers work, the layout of the maps. Like they're fairly standard across all of them. It's always like that single point, 3 widespread veins that come back together. I'd really like to see someone fuck with that, but like still make it a MOBA. Like have a different layout and have minions be a little bit different, like as far as like you don't need to just kill this wave and suck up points, because a big part of it in all these games is staying safe and sucking up, or soaking, you know what I mean, just killing minions and getting experience until you're at the point where you're ready to really like advance. But I mean, I'm guessing it's probably because it's a tried and tested formula that always works, or seems to always work from like a basic like playability standpoint. But I still like I haven't played Killstrain yet. Isn't that like,
I tried like 2 games of it. It wasn't for me. I don't even know what to call it.
Or actually, did you try Hmac Arena? It's also a MOBA, but it's a bit different. It's almost like, it's a good mix because it's like a top-down shooter, and because you're like almost like a Gundam or something, where you can on the fly switch between like flight mode and like ground, like robot mode.
Okay.
And there's different builds. So like there's robots that are more melee, ones that got guns, and then there's ships. Like their ship version is different as well. And it's like you go and pick up resources and shit. But it still is fairly MOBA-ish as far as like push the lane, push the minions, and like attack the towers and stuff. But yeah, maybe we'll come up with one once we get some bigger. Yeah, there you go. The Ultra Clash MOBA down the line. So yeah, talking about developments. Mostly this week now I'm working on Jaro cinematic stuff, so you'll see that popping up on Twitter and everything as it goes. I've dropped a couple images already. I dropped a GIF that plays way too slow and way too long. But it's first scene, or part of the first opening scene from the intro. And some other whips and stuff. Something interesting I read the other day talking about like promoting like the indie games and stuff, which is what made me drop the the second thing after the GIF, because the GIF was like fairly well like what the final thing is going to look like, and the other thing I dropped was just like sketch, like it was like the rough work, like the rough work, no clean line or nothing.
Like this?
Yeah, exactly. Like, and that kind of had received a bit better, and because like I read this article and it talked about like most people are really interested in the guts, like the work behind. They don't care about the finished game. They want to see the work towards it. They want to see like the bits and pieces, the whips, right? Like all the stuff going up to it. And I'm starting to see that is really the case. And so I'm going to really try and show off a little bit more of like the working behind it before like the actual product gets out. Now I'm still going to drop some polished stuff here and there and show like preview scenes and stuff. And I want to make, like once I get so much of this done, I'm going to cut a trailer. But on the way to that, you'll see a lot of rough sketches and like, you know, storyboards and shit like that. Mm-hmm. And speaking of storyboards and animatics and whatnot, Chomtar, I'm gonna push fairly soon to get more animatics done. I finished writing the last episode of the Halloween special last night because I kind of worked it to a point and I hadn't finished it. So I finally found where to end it, and it gave me something that is changing the rest of the episodes in the first season.
Oh.
Yeah.
You'll have to tell me after.
Yeah. I don't want to let it drop yet, but...
Then we won't let it drop yet.
But I'll give a small hint to what it could be related to, and I'll just say Army of Darkness.
Oh. Okay.
Right? And now, I mean, I don't know if it's already dropped, but Halloween episode already has heavy Evil Dead references anyway, and, like, certain things, right? But yeah, we'll go over that. I'll let you know now, post-show. Yeah, other than that, I mean, what have you been intaking other than Paragon? I know you were talking about Batman vs. Superman and Justice League earlier. Did you watch the Justice League trailer?
Yeah, I did watch it, but
not
like loosely. I kind of just put it on and just to see what they're trying to do with it.
Well, for me, the one thing I took away from it, the tone felt really off for me. Like, the way it was presented and, like, everything from, like, the music, the title, all of it, to me seemed really odd fit for Justice League. Like, to me, Justice League was... I mean, already, most DC heroes are, like, demigod heroes, right? They're very little humanity. They've got a lot of just, like, godlike powers and stature, right? I mean, they're already trying to retcon Wonder Woman because she was made from clay, right? She's not even a fucking person. And, again, like, Superman's a fucking super god alien. Aquaman is this ruler of a fucking unknown, Atlantis, right? Yeah. So these are not really relatable characters. They're gods. You know, Injustice, gods among us, right? So it felt really awkward to have the trailer feel like a fucking Ocean's 13 or Ocean's 11 trailer.
Right? It had this really, like, upbeat tone to it.
Yeah, and it was just Bruce Wayne bombing around, like, talking to people like they're getting ready for a heist.
People. Yeah, it's like, oh, we're gonna get together and make this group. Want to join us?
Yeah.
It's like, no.
Like, where's the epic superhero shit? Like, it's just like they're hanging out and, like, chatting and, like, talking about, yeah, we're gonna do some shit. It's like, whereas then I watched the Doctor Strange trailer, and that seemed epic as fuck. Like, it was so, like, crazy. Like, I'm actually excited for that movie because Doctor Strange is kind of a cool character anyway, and he looks pretty faithful.
I never knew much about him. I only kind of seen a couple things here and there and played him in, like, Marvel vs. Capcom.
Oh, yeah.
Like, so I never really knew much of his story, but I find that what's his name? Benedict Cumberbatch?
Yeah.
He nails that character.
Yeah.
Like,
looks perfect.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what, like, Marvel is killing it. Marvel is raping the movie universe as far as it goes. Because, like, they got DC beat, I think, dead.
Well, Suicide Squad apparently didn't do too well.
And I don't think...
Batman vs. Superman had mixed reviews. I mean, I liked it.
Yeah. And that's what... I need to give that a chance because I was really turned off by the trailer. Like...
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, I really thought that fucking Batfleck.
Yeah, it was going to be bad.
Was going to be bad, but no, man, he made the movie.
Yeah, like, it's funny.
Such a surprise.
It's funny because everyone, like, as soon as that came out, people were losing their shit. Like, Ben Affleck's going to be fucking Batman. Like, I don't understand the Affleck hate. Like, the dude does good work.
For me, it was like, the view I had on it was similar to Paul Rudd and Ant-Man.
Oh.
It's the type of acting and shit that he's done, like the type of stuff that you know him for,
doesn't line up with Batman.
He doesn't fit.
Yeah.
But Affleck did a fucking great Batman.
Well, and that's what I heard.
Paul Rudd didn't do a great Ant-Man, but at the same time, I don't really know Ant-Man, so maybe he did. But he wasn't a superhero for me. No,
and I didn't see him as playing a hero. No. Like he plays what he usually plays, like the fucking
comedic,
the like, you know, middle-aged fucking comedy, like regular Joe, right? The somewhat like, you know, identifiable guy. Like he always seems like a guy you'd know, you know. Doesn't seem like the super scientist hero. But, I mean, yeah, I'm in the same boat where I don't really know Ant-Man that well anyway to say if that is or isn't what Ant-Man's supposed to be.
But that was my thing with Batman and Affleck. It's just, no, he didn't... Because, like, you think of Affleck, I think of, like, romances and comedies and... Geely.
Well, yeah.
Right.
Now, he's had some action stuff before, but it's still, like, it doesn't line up with Batman.
Not really. You know? Like, his stuff before was, like, thriller, in a sense.
Thriller?
No.
Oh!
No, like, just in, like, in genre, like...
Oh, yeah,
It was, like, thriller, suspense type thing, not, like, hardcore action.
True. You know, but yeah, so I got a weird vibe from Justice League, and I'm not really sold on it at all right now. Like, as far as it going to be the blockbuster that it should be. No. But it's Ben Affleck again is at the helm of it, so he does good work. Like
now, is he writing that one? Because I know he apparently is writing the next Batman script. Like he's writing it and directing it.
I had no idea,
as far as I know.
Well,
but like it's apparently like they just greenlit him right away.
Well, yeah.
Like after watching Batman vs Superman, he's like, I got like, you know, a script for Batman. This is the new movie type thing, and they're like, "Yep, you can do it."
Yeah, go for it, because we have not been doing it, so someone else needs to. But I mean, I could see it. I'd like to see him. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see what he does with Batman when he's got the helm. But maybe that's what it was, because I thought that was Justice League, but I think you're right. It is actually Batman that he's got control over. But yeah. Like, when I expected the Justice League trailer, I expected, like, the Avengers. You know what I mean? Like, all our heroes in this super, like, high fucking action epic, you know?
Well, like I said, I pretty much just kind of vaguely watched the movie, or the trailer. But even thinking back on it now, who's the bad guy?
I know. What's the conflict?
Yeah, like why are they starting up the Justice League? Why is he going out and
Batman
getting
just
people?
Needs friends.
He's just paranoid.
Yeah,
right.
That's what it seems like.
I can understand, like if you've seen the other, like if you've seen Batman vs Superman, like you kind of understand what's to come.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to ruin anything for anyone, but at the same time, it doesn't explain that in the trailer that I can remember. I don't remember them having any kind of conflict in the trailer. No.
But yeah, I know what you're talking about, and I would say that is the whole deal for it, for Justice League. But yeah, they didn't show it. They didn't tell you anything about it. It's just like...
It's like, oh, Batman's going to have to get some friends. They're going to make a cool group and enjoy the movie.
Exactly. You know, I mean, it feels like they're going to end up in, like, that post-credit scene of the Avengers where they're just hanging out eating shawarma, you know? Like,
oh, my.
But, yeah, Marvel's doing it, and hopefully Affleck can turn it around for DC. Because I gotta see Batman, Superman. But, I mean, I really feel like Dark Knight fucked them up. Like, Dark Knight was so good, and I think ever since then they've been like, alright, dark and gritty, that's how we need to be for everything. Because that's what sold and made lots of money.
Well, I was actually kind of worried that with Batman vs Superman, like, he was going to come in and be like, and like, do that.
Yeah.
He kind of does.
But doesn't he have like it's a synthesizer thing?
It's actually like a voice modulator in the movie. So he's not like trying to do this. He's just talking and it's modifying it, right?
There's just still like that's hilarious. But you know what? Like one of the best Batman that has been done was Bale's, and
oh yeah,
Because, I mean, really, you go back to, like, who has Don the Cowl, and it's like, so you had Val Kilmer, you got George Clooney, and, like...
Michael Keaton.
Yeah. Like, fucking...
Adam West.
Beetlejuice. And fucking... I don't know what Val Kilmer did other than that, honestly, on the top of my head. Point Break? Was that him?
I don't know. Val Kilmer.
No, that was fucking... Point Break was...
Man, Val Kilmer used to be huge. I can't think of a movie that he was in.
Exactly.
Batman.
Exactly.
Wow.
But yeah, he was in one of the better ones. Which, although, you know what? Going back to Batman Returns now, it's a weird fucking movie. Really weird fucking movie. And that became, like, at the time, was like, fucking, yeah, that's Batman. Like, this is awesome. Batman. Right? But it's such a weird movie now when I go back and it's like, yeah, this is Tim Burton as fuck. Like, but no, and Beetlejuice, like Michael Keaton, even when I watch him in it now, when he has that, like, let's get nuts line when he says to Nicholson, I'm like, yeah, that's Beetlejuice right there. So yeah, Batman's on the way. Oh, and talking about Batman, The Killing Joke is coming out on, and I don't think it's out now, but the animated version, the adaptation, which most of the DC animated stuff has been super shit hot. Like, their animated stuff compared to their movies have been way better. Justice League Unlimited, that series, that's what they should have looked at for, like, what are we going to do with the movies? Like, go check that out, because every episode of the Unlimited series, because there's Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. Unlimited, every episode is an epic story. Like, oh yeah, with, like,
what's the difference with the Unlimited and the regular?
Just the storylines that they choose. Like, most,
oh,
that's
really?
what I found.
So it's not like a different, like a slightly different characters, or
nope.
someone swapped out, or
same animation, same characters. Like, Unlimited, I think they introduced more side characters that people weren't familiar with. But these big, huge, like, world-ending crises were just, like, every episode. And versus Justice League Normal was more like, you know, almost like an intimate story where it's just like this hero and a villain having a conflict. Now, there's been some really good episodes. Like, one of my favorite ones, if this isn't Unlimited, I don't think it is. It actually came on my Xbox when I bought it. It was on the hard drive. It was Superman's birthday. And it's a really cool story. So it's Wonder Woman and Batman are on the way to the Fortress of Solitude for Superman's birthday. And they're like, oh, what'd you get him, whatever. And Batman's like, gift card. But
what do you get Superman?
Exactly. Well, that's kind of it, right? But what ends up happening is that...
Would you wrap anything for Superman? I mean,
exactly.
Really?
What's the point? You can see it. He knows what you got him before you get there.
He can hear you purchase it.
Exactly. But, what the episode is about is Brainiac sent him something, and it's this crazy starfish creature thing. And so when they show up, they walk in, and they just see him there with this thing on his chest. He's just like a zombie. And Brainiac's there, and he's a crazy powerful villain who Superman can handle, but, you know, Batman and Wonder Woman got a much harder time with him. So they're having this hardcore fight against him, and he's kicking their ass. And the whole time Superman is in this dream state. So what this thing does is it gives you this, like, dream-like reality, where it's like everything that you wanted happens. So he's in a place where Krypton never blew up. He's still home on Krypton with a family and kids and everything, and he thinks this has been his life the whole time. So they're fighting against Brainiac, and it cuts back and forth to Superman having this, like, he's talking to, like,
picturesque reality. Yeah,
and he's talking to scientists who are talking about, like, the potential of Krypton exploding and stuff, and his father's talking to him, and it gets up to the point where it's like he eventually gets, I can't remember exactly what it was that triggers it, but it's like something makes him realize that he needs to get out, like pull himself out. I think it's as they're prying the thing off, he starts to remember bits and bits. And it's like he knows that none of it's real. And what was really cool, and I was like, this is like, would have made for a good, like, epic story, is because, like, he has children, and he's, in his mind, he's had his whole life with a wife and kids and all this stuff. And he's got to throw it all away. Like, literally destroy this entire reality to get out and help Batman and Wonder Woman to get back into what's going on. So that's what was really cool too, is because then he gets pissed when he gets back, because he's like, he had to, like, basically kill his pseudo family to get back to fight Brainiac. So him living through the death of Krypton and everything again, really, like, so then he beats the shit out of Brainiac when he gets back, and that's how the episode kind of concludes. But really good story, really good like character interactions, and actually an interesting story for Superman. Because even though I still think he's a shit character, when they find a way to fuck him up, is when he becomes interesting. Because otherwise, I mean, yeah, once they took it off, he beats up Brainiac and they win, right? Because he's Superman, he wins. But yeah,
Superman, he wins.
So yeah. Started talking about Killing Joke. So I still haven't watched it, but like I was saying to you earlier, the one thing I've heard from it that I really thought was a fuck up in the story that they kind of, I watched the thing and they added this whole like build up that involves Barbara Gordon a lot, like to try and make you kind of understand the relationship between the two of them, which to an extent I get, because in the comic book it doesn't really deal with her that much before the point at which she's shot. And they just assume, you've been reading the comics, you know who she is, you know the relationship and all that. So they're adding stuff in to kind of build that up so that when she gets shot, it hits harder. But one thing they added that I thought was really fucked up was that Batman has sex with Barbara. And it's like, so now...
The dynamic is fucked.
Yeah, like now they're lovers, which is weird, because Batman doesn't really do that. And on top of that, he's buddies with Gordon and just fuck Gordon's daughter. Like, who's being, like, tortured then through the whole thing. So, I don't know, like, to me, I could get it in a sense where it's like you're trying to build that connection, but it's kind of real lazy and mishandling the character. Like, and almost like, I think kind of short-sighted, just be like, oh, well, he fucks her, so now he cares about her. Like, you know what I mean? Like, real basic, like, simple way to try and solve that issue creatively, and I don't know, to me it's very weak and fucks up the whole dynamic between all three of those characters. So yeah, what else? I think there is really much else other than, well, been fucking with Opentoonz. I don't know if I mentioned it in the last episode, but we're gonna move into Opentoonz being like one of our probably primary
for animation.
Yeah, for 2D anyway. And I'm really actually excited about that because it is classical. Like, it is full on classical animation because it's built to go that way. So it uses all the principles of the old school method of drawings and cells and exposures and layers, and so the old methods line up with it. Like the way the dope sheet lies out and the way you expose your frames. And I just need to actually familiarize with the program a little bit more. Once I actually finish up with Jaro and stuff, I'm going to dive hard into it and get Chomtar all set up in the production sense, because I did all that for how we were doing before. Mm-hmm. So there's a structure for where files go, how it all breaks down, but now I got to redo all that.
Move from Adobe over to Opentoonz.
Yeah, exactly, and kind of resituate how it works, because I know it creates its own hierarchy, so I got to figure out how that's going to work in the scope of an episode, like, because it goes by like scene basis, and each kind of directory, I don't know if it should be the episode or the scene should be a directory,
Oh, gotcha.
So, a lot of work to go yet, but it's going to be worth it, because I think people will appreciate, like, it's something said before, like, Flash stands out as an animation, like, people don't really respect it as an animation tool, because, like, tweeny stuff looks like shit, but we're mostly using it as, like, a classical style, but it was almost working against the grain at the same time.
Now you got something that'll...
Yeah, accept...
for it.
Yeah, because, like, I mean, drawing in Flash is a pain in the ass, right? Like, just trying to get clean lines is a fucking nightmare. You gotta know, like, the right number for smoothing, and the other fucking thing I hate about it is, depending on your zoom, like, literally if you're zoomed in or out, that's what controls how big your line is. Not, like, let me set my line... and it will always be that, regardless of how far or in or out I am.
Oh, gotcha.
It's always relative to the screen. So you got to be like, all right, well, to keep my consistency, I got to zoom that at 200% should be this big, and versus 100% should be a bit smaller. Right? Now, I mean, there is ways to work around that if you use the line tool and stuff, but I always use the brush because I like that weighted line kind of look. But that's really hard to pull off too with Flash, because you get that boiling and inconsistencies. So yeah, Opentoonz from Ghibli. If you don't know what it is and you're interested in animation, you should definitely pull it down and learn it.
It's free!
Because it's free, and they made some awesome movies in it, like Princess Mononoke and The Red Turtle and most of the Ghibli stuff. So yeah, I think that's pretty much
56.
it. 56. Oh, let's do our plugs. Yeah. Was just about to be out, but yeah. So yeah, check us out on theheromode.com. Get us on iTunes, YouTube. Subscribe on Twitter, Instagram. Twitter is @hero_mode. Facebook is facebook.com/theheromode. And Instagram, I think, is just the Hero Mode. I don't know how the fuck Instagram's like address thing works, but you'll find us if you look up Hero Mode on there. And yeah, stay tuned for there's gonna be more Chomtar drops soon on the social media, as well as all the Jaro stuff I mentioned earlier. And hopefully, I want to try and get Vandal Chain moving at a fairly regular rate. I haven't figured out quite what that's going to be. Right now, it's going to be basically whenever the fuck I get a chance to jump into it instead of doing one of the other things. So it will not be a regular rate yet, but it is coming. I mean, there's still like 20-something pages done, and I know I got a big story I'm trying to tell, I want to tell. So, yeah. Until next time.
Out.
Yeah.